Oh my gosh. That's excellent. Really good job. Wow. Oh man. That's really good. Looks just like me. Wow. That's outstanding work. I mean, with things like that, you can always tweak it. But on many points, the teeth, the eyebrows, the hairline, the overall profile, the nose, I mean, you really nailed it in many respects. I'm trying to think of something blatantly wrong with it, and I'm struggling. I wonder how that's going to look like as an emote. That's a funny emote. That's excellent. How do I do this? Press Control minus. Press Control minus. Press Control minus. Oh man. Yeah, there's no rush. You can play with it. Press Control 0. But I would definitely say that's encouraging. Yeah, I see the right nostril. My right, not his right. His left, my right. As I look really close at it, it's off. Oh, you know what? It's got to have a neck beard. You got to add stubble. Because if I'm fat, you would think I definitely have. Like, if I let go of my weight to that point, you know I'd have, like, a good amount of facial hair. So it should definitely have stubble. I rarely am very clean shaven, I think. Here and there, but even when I do a clean shave, it's just with a buzzer. I don't get, like, a smooth shave. So that would have to be added for sure. Also, you need to put some indication of this center thing between the nose and the upper lip. Everyone has a little channel that runs here. There has to be some kind of channel there. It should look okay as long. It'll just look like slightly darker, like you'd be able to tell there was facial hair there. I don't think it would look bad. It would just kind of become fuzzy and it just look like a darker area, I would think. But yeah, I get how there has to be some concern for how things scale. I get that. So that's good you're thinking about that. That's definitely... Because you're putting more thought in this than me. I'm not the one actually creating it. I feel like maybe it's a little wide between the ears. Or not, or maybe not. Like the chin and mouth and nose need to be brought down a little bit. Almost like start measuring from the center of the nose and then just stretch everything downward more. Because my head overall shape, width and height is a little taller than that. Well, maybe I could be wrong. Maybe then it wouldn't look as fat. But it just seems like then the eyes are spread kind of wide. The eyes width compared to the head width of the hair and the hairline look about right. Maybe the eyes need to be brought a little bit in. But then the nose proportions compared to the eyes, the nose should be a little longer in height. You did that on purpose? Okay. Well, then that might be okay. But it then looks a little less like me. Like if I was fat, I would be more of a tall, fat face. Like you could still make it fat without that, but if you look at it more of as like a caricature, maybe that was a good stylistic move. Maybe it'll pop as just that as fat as heck from the viewpoint of looking at it as a thumbnail. So yeah, I have to bear that in mind. You could be right. That could have been a good stylistic choice. That might have been a really smart move, actually. I can see what you mean. You know, I'm seeing a lot of talent here. I've always thought your artwork was talented, but you really outdone yourself on this one. This is excellent. I would say, okay, the right eye seems a little bit slanted, like drooping. My right facing him, his left. Seems a little slanted. Maybe the upper eyelid of his right eye, my left, is also a little off, like slanted in the right center. Maybe that needs to be lifted up a little bit. I mean, this is nitpicking, of course, but I mean, it's just so good. There's always room for improvement. And I'm not even saying these are deal breakers. These are just like maybe things to consider. But as a work of art, this already stands. And who knows, maybe depending on the angle, maybe I'm just seeing it wrong. Maybe it should be that way. I mean, it is pretty darn good. This is pretty darn good. I mean, it really is. But as far as polish and stuff, I've found that sometimes it's good to step away from it for a couple days and then come back and something might glare out at you. And I'm assuming you've had reference photos to work off, so I don't want you to feel rushed. But yeah, you figured that would encourage me a little bit, and it did, so I appreciate that. You're the one intern, quote unquote, that has really made the program feel like a success on some level. And you know what? I need to not think of it as a failure after 4 or 5 days. That internship program is going to be around for 10 years. And 10 years is a long time. And people come and go. People come and go to the stream in general. And you never know when some serious robotics student or engineer is going to come by who's more talented than I am. Maybe not as creative as me, maybe not as driven as me, but pure raw talent and knowledge and skills at certain areas. And they're just going to knock some major progress out on a couple of these projects just because they think it's cool and they just feel like it and they're bored. You never know. And that could make that 30 hours pale in comparison instantly when somebody rolls through that just crushes my to-do list. You never know. So I think it's way too soon to jump the gun and say the idea was a failure. Temporarily, it was a failure, and I'm more upset with the people that talked a big game and said they're going to do stuff for me and didn't. That's the part that bugs me. If I just made this internship program like, oh, you know what? I think it'd be cool to have an internship program because you never know when somebody might want to help out. Then I wouldn't care. I wouldn't have had expectations of one thing. It's the expectations that I was going to get a ton of work submitted to me in a very short timetable to the point where I dropped everything to do it, getting behind on my workouts, getting behind on my YouTube video editing, getting behind on square cutting, getting behind on working on my printer. That's the part that bugged me, that there wasn't that return on investment immediately by these people lining up to help me that didn't help me. So it was the fact that people didn't do what they say they would do that upset me. But I guess I should have expected that. I gave people the benefit of the doubt. I mean, it's just weird to me that somebody would do that, just begging somebody to let them help and then not helping. That's just foreign to me. I would never do that to someone. It's low character. It's just like a crappy individual that would do that. So I'm very upset with a lot of those guys. Now, if they come back next week or in a couple weeks and start working hard, I'll forgive them. I'll forgive them in general, but it just shows poor character. Okay, that's better, but I would clear out, like, you gotta shape it a little more and draw, the neck beard has to come up to the sideburns. Also, my sideburns have to be a little longer. I always cut them at the bottom of the ear. So this has to come down to here, and then the whiskers have to come up to meet that a little bit more. I think it's coming a little too high on the cheeks. Like, it should come down a little bit more. I mean, I think so. Yeah, like the beard's traveling up the face a little high. It needs to cut off like closer to here and then come up. There should be more face involved, less beard up here through the cheek area. But that's pretty good as far as the beards. There's some dark spots, like right here is a little darker. This is kind of a highlight. This looks kind of too much of a smudge. Like it needs to be a little more uniform as far as the shading goes. I assume you did that on a separate layer. So you have to make sure that it's not like really dark patches. Maybe in the corner of the mouth it looks like extra dark patch, stuff like that. But overall, the look when I squint at it, that's a good overall value to indicate a beard or a shadow. So I think you're on the right track. Just needs a little bit of polish. Oh, the right eye droop is dead on now. Oh, and you fixed the right nostril. Good. That's perfect now. Yeah, and the beard, I'd say you left out the right under his right ear, my left. It's like a highlight, but it would need to be a little bit darker if the beard's swinging out that way. I mean, well, maybe not. If you want to keep it as a highlight, maybe you're right. Oh, that's why you didn't put it leading up to the sideburn as well, because you wanted to keep the highlight. Yeah, that gets complicated. How the shadow would be blown out by the light if the light's hitting strong. I get that. But to kind of compromise that situation, I would say making the sideburns longer would solve that. Although, yeah, you just treat it as the highlighted hair at the same value. Because I do always wear my sideburn right down to the bottom of the bottom earlobe. Oh, it's just a quick example? Yeah, then in that case, if it was just a proof of concept, you're dead on. I mean, you could try to make little spots, but that's going to take a lot of time. I think it's okay just to have this indication style. I mean, it does kind of look like mud, though. I don't know, maybe you want to actually put little spots. I'm not sure how you do it, though. But if it were spots, I think that would increase the quality. Maybe matching the same value, but just actually put little stippling. Maybe if you made like 20 stipples, you could copy paste it and then overlap them and create a stipple pattern, which you can copy paste several times. But if I squint at it, that's about the value I would like. So I think you hit it dead on with the value. So the technique might be the part that needs to be improved. Much better. You fix the sideburn. The eyes look good. Nose looks good. Mouth looks good. Collectively, that latest revision is just so much better. It's starting to really look dead on. Oh, I see you brought the cheeks down lower. That's good. Yeah, that's all looking more accurate. Because if you picture like a goatee, it would come down and then swing out, and you just had it going straight across. Like, I'm not that hairy. You know what? The right ear, there would be some more shadow coming in right here. There's a little cup, and then this little noogie of skin gets better defined. Every ear always has a little hump of skin, and so there needs to be some shadowing right here, defining the bottom of the ear concavity a little better. I know I'm nitpicking, but it's really starting to be so dead on. It's worth. Also, of the two front teeth, my left, his right tooth needs a little more gum showing. I think there would be slightly more exposed gum at the top of that tooth. Maybe make the exposed height of the middle two teeth match a little better. His right, my left tooth is a little taller than the rightmost tooth, so maybe bringing up the lip so that it's more uniform. Otherwise, it would indicate that the bottom lip is slightly crooked if more tooth is revealed on the right tooth over the left. But then again, yeah, at much lower resolutions, you wouldn't see any of that. But I'm just being thorough. I think the quality of this work merits it, and that's where art goes from good to great or excellent, is when you hit all the critical details just right. I mean, that's what really can make something just be amazing. It wouldn't show up at all. Oh, that's okay. Knowing it would be there, just like when they sculpted the inside of the mouth of Grom Hellscream for the Blizzard display of the 10-foot tall Grom Hellscream having just killed the big alien guy, Magtheridon. Um, they actually sculpted in great detail, like underneath the tongue and stuff that nobody would see. And this, people actually could see at different resolutions, so stuff like that, I think it's worth it. It's good for artists to have that sense of pride to sculpt even things people wouldn't see, because they know it's there and they did it right. When I squint at it, it looks just like me. Uh, maybe make the his right ear, our left, slightly longer as well, bringing down the earlobe slightly. Maybe it got squished to be shorter when you made the whole face shorter to make it look more fat. But I would still say to bring it down a little bit. Well, maybe not. I mean, then it might again throw off. There's a deliberate proportional fudging going on with the nose, mouth, and ears in terms of the height in order to make the face look wider and fatter. So if you made the ear longer, then that would match the proportions of the forehead and eyes, but you deliberately made the nose squatter and the mouth raised up in order to make it look fatter and less of a narrow, long face. So maybe the ears shortening kind of is bridging that gap as well as a compromise. So that's what's throwing me off. I just have to remember that was a deliberate artistic direction choice to improve the overall profile to make it look fatter. So I think you have it dead on. I would say disregard that part. I would say this little piece of skin that travels from the bottom left of the ear to the upper right, I believe it's supposed to fork. I'd add a little bit of shadowing in the center of it. I think it forks up and then across, if I'm not mistaken. But you're looking at reference and I'm not, so I could be wrong there. So you might be able to disregard that statement. I would say as far as his right sideburn, our left, I would say like a little thicker as it approaches the bottom of the ear. Just another couple lines. Because it doesn't taper up that much. I know we're just seeing the side view of it, but I think it should be like a little bit thicker at the very bottom. Like one more stroke of the brush. And then it'll be fine. Oh, his left sideburn, our right, it's coming down, but then skin is outside of it, between it and the ear. That's inaccurate. So it would need to flare outward to match the profile of the skin of the fat. So you have to fix that. Otherwise, it's kind of profiling the center part of the face rather than following the profile of the fat that's reaching out past it. So your brushstroke would have needed to have been moved to more of like a 20-degree angle, flaring out to the right, rather than directly vertical, how you put it. And it looks like there's some dark line across his left ear, our right, that's coming down into the right. That's like really dark, and it doesn't really fit anything unless if it's a stray hair. So I would say that should be removed. And the hair is beautifully done though, besides that. Just dead on. I love the hair. It's so well done. I really like the shading. When you squint at it, the lighting, the handling of the values from shadow to light, the rendering of the nose, it's all really well done. You did a beautiful job. A lot of skill shown here. If I got this as a caricature at like a fair, I would be thrilled. I mean, this is much better than a typical caricature art. This would be hilarious. Most caricatures don't capture likeness. This does. My gosh, I would be so mad if I got this back at a caricature artist booth. It looks like just a really well done caricature art. It's excellent. Wow, and how lucky am I to be able to talk to the caricature artist and nitpick like this? I'm fortunate. Because normally you get what you get. They're done with their airbrushing, they roll it up in a tube and hand it to you, and that's it. And I'm getting to like tweak it so that I really can be in love with it. That's awesome. I'm like very privileged. Okay, the right sideburn. Well, okay, the right sideburn looks a little thick now. Because it's matching the thickness of the left sideburn. And yet my face is angled more to the right, so you would see less of it. So I would say bring it back toward the ear a little bit, toward the center of the face, remove some of it. Eyebrows perfect. Eyes look great. Nose great. Oh, you added the indication in the center of the mustache area. That's really good. That's good. Okay, you added a little more highlight to the upper lip, I see. That's good. I was thinking the highlight looked really good, kind of indicating the end of the mustache on the right part of the lip. And I thought to myself it would be good to continue that across, but I didn't think to mention it. I see you saw the same thing. So that's an improvement. The teeth are now level in the two center teeth, so they match. That's good. Got rid of the crooked lip indication. The ear. Oh, you added the fork. Okay, that's good. But I still think it needs a little more shadowing, defining the. I call it the noogie. It's that little skin flap in the center of the ear that you see when you're looking at an ear. A little bit of shadow in through here, like kind of the little line pointing to where the earring hole would be. A little bit of shadowing right there will make it dead on. The right ear just kind of looks weird. I don't know what's the issue with it though. Let's see. It's kind of all over the place, but it is technically in shadow, so I don't know. I wouldn't worry about it too much. I mean, I don't think anybody really would look at it, but it looks a little off. Normally I wouldn't even really look at it. But I'm running out of things to nitpick. Like it's becoming like a masterpiece at this point. It's getting harder to find anything. You know, I can say that the hump above his right eye, our left, comes down at about the 2/3 mark. I mentioned it before, indicating almost like a swollen lower eye concavity or upper eye concavity area. I don't know. It's kind of like a cutout scooping into the eye, and I don't think I have that. I think the right eye is a little better executed. It should be like brought up a little bit there. I'm not sure. I mean, I guess that's really subtle and hard to change, but maybe like you could just raise up the white of the eye a little bit and that would carve away, and maybe add some more darkening to raise up the pupil, but that might mess something else up, so I don't know. I guess you got to be really careful, but I just feel like if you moved the perimeter of the upper part of the eye up a little bit at the 2/3 mark, right about where the right side of the pupil ends, just raising that to be more of a sloping arc. Because right now it's like coming across and then it humps down and then it continues. And that doesn't look natural. Unless if that's a feature of somebody's face, which it could be, but I don't think mine has that. I could be wrong though. The nose is dead on. Forehead and hair are dead on, so that's nice to have those staples just totally crossed off. The double chin, Yeah, I mean it's meant to be. We have no way to reference that. It's meant to be a cartoony chin. Um, yeah, I think it's funny, and that's the most important thing. So we don't have to get into realism or anything like that. It's just supposed to be silly. So yeah, I guess I can't really say anything else. Do I have any indication of a dimple in the center of my chin? I don't actually know. There's no chin dimple even hinted at here. I don't know if I have one. No, I don't think I have one at all. Oh, you know what? Oh, okay. You can see, look at my facial hair. There's some giveaways. Um, I have skin and then like a darker spot under my bottom lip. It's a darker spot, but then it should be just like skin um on either side of that. Right here and right here. So that should help. And the white part, it's a good thing you added that. And it should be like a little bit darker right here in the center. So a dark spot here, a dark spot here would be good. Yeah, because that's pretty defining. My friend calls this spot the taco meat. Some people grow it really long. He's like, "Oh, why is that guy got taco meat on his under his bottom lip?" Some people stylize that, but it's a little cluster of hair, and on either side of it, it should be lighter. Okay, so on his right side of his face, the V taper ends right here, and on his right, the V taper ends right here, and this is way higher than right here. So this needs to be brought down so that the V taper where the beard starts and the skin ends has to have the same ending point. So it would be closer to right here would be the ending point. So that has to be brought down a little bit more with the skin and the beard being removed. I call it the skin, meaning where there's no beard. But you nailed the noogie, I call it, the canal, and right above the. Oh, maybe not. I think I have a little more pronounced. Um, like the white part comes up like a V, right above my upper lip. It's almost like looks like a bird. The white part, it comes up and then swoops down. So you can nail my lips a little better. Uh, you really did a good job. This is nitpicking is fun, but it's like eventually you're fixing everything. It really depends on the lighting. So I can't say you should add a little more shadow at the bottom of the teeth. I can't say that because it really depends on the lighting. So you might have it dead on based on the lighting being used in this photo. I see shadow when I smile, kind of creeping in on the bottoms of the teeth, but I don't know that that would happen in this photo. This is hilarious. Oh man. Yeah, I barely have any beard actually on the front of my chin. So there's a little bit of facial hair crossing the goatee area, and then a little bit on the bottom of my face and a lot on my neck. So where the double chin is, that would be hairy like it is. But yeah, I would say clearing out hair around the outside of the taco meat region would make it look a lot more like me. Even around this area, right beneath his right side of his face, our left, it should be kind of a clear patch where there's not much beard, mostly just skin. See, I don't have a very thick beard, and my beard's patchy. In fact, if you really want to nitpick, right here is kind of a bald spot in my beard on the lower left half of my face. It's kind of, there's an actual spot where there's no beard. But I don't think that's important to capture, but I mean, it would add a nice little flair. Oh, and you know, I have a dimple. I think that would be nice to add. It's right here, and it's a defining characteristic. Without a dimple, it's going to lose a lot of fidelity. It's let's see, so the right side of his face should have just like a line right here. Yeah, so pretty much where I told you to bring the beard down for the V taper, there needs to be a shadow pretty dark, almost as dark as the line defining the where the cheek meets the skin of the mouth. Needs to be a dimple, and I just have one on one side too. That would really capture my likeness, because my whole life people know I have one dimple. Even when I talk, you can kind of see it. And when I smile, it's very pronounced. It's very obvious. So I would say that that would be an important detail to capture, because that's a defining characteristic of my face. If only I had two dimples. A lot of people are jealous even that I have one. That's definitely something worth adding. I love that you captured the wrinkle of the forehead. The bottom wrinkle of the forehead could be made a little wider, although I don't know, because I have two. But I mean, yeah, I mean I have two wrinkles. The bottom one's wider, the top one's a little less. So this one has just one, and then a really faded bottom one that's smaller than the top one. I would say the bottom one should be wider than the top one. The top one width is about perfect, but it's missing that bottom wrinkle. Ooh, the lower eyelid of his left eye, our right, is really nice. I like the lighting on that. You captured this little highlight, which kind of defined a wrinkle. That's pretty cool. Man, I can't wait till my family sees this. I'm gonna show it off, because it's really well done. Oh, I have to call my wife. Smiling, I just realized. Stop listening. His left ear, our right, should be brought inward about a third. 1/3. I don't know if you need to use the scale tool and just scale it, but it needs to be brought thinner, because it's standing out nearly as widely as his right ear, but since his face is angled like 30 degrees to our right, we wouldn't see as much of his left ear. So the way you mirrored his right ear to his left, that was smart. It captured a lot of the detail and quality, and now it looks less weird, and it just needs to be drawn back a little bit toward the left. Maybe enough to match where the right side of his hairline ends would be where the profile of the ear would end. Oh, you know what I love? I just realized his chin is slightly off to his right, our left, which is how mine is in real life because I have a broken jaw. I got hit from the right, and you can actually see the crookedness, which is a stroke of realism that is really nice to see. That level of capture. That's really cool. Perfect. Yeah, that's dead on now. Oh my gosh. It's funny because it reminds me of the double chin face I make. It looks like it. Oh my gosh, the dimple added so much. The expression is just funny. There's an intensity to the eyes.
The person in front of me is like drunk.
It looks like me just really excited and intensely smiling, like I just had a really good idea. Which captures kind of a great moment, like when I have my excited smile, like I just thought of something amazing. And yet I'm so fat. It's like I just thought of a great new diet plan I'm gonna start and I'm really excited. That right eye is just perfect. Yeah! It does smiling. I'm looking into the microwave excited.
The only issue is that they gave you brown eyes and you have blue eyes.
Oh! Interesting. No, wow. Good eye. My wife just said that I have been given brown eyes and I have blue eyes. They're actually blue-green. I guess I'll have to do a full screen of my eyes so you can get the color. You can take a screenshot of it or something. That's my eyes. So hopefully you caught that screenshot or whatever. I mean, yeah, I don't know if you need a screenshot just to make them blue, but reference never hurts.
I'm gonna get closer.
Great eye, baby.
Of course, because I love your eyes.
Oh, now that I zoom in, I noticed that his right pupil, or is it called the pupil? I don't know. The whole eye, it's slanted at like a 20-degree angle when it should be more rounded. It needs to be a little more round. It's like kind of a weird, it comes down and then it just slants hard to the left.
Oh, shoot, I have no gas.
Maybe that's probably why it shut off if you're low on gas. Right? What? Yeah, I guess it should be okay. Also, I noticed in the white of the eye right here, it's coming across and then it takes a hard upward slant. I think that should be more gradual, more of a flowing um, taper to meet the corner of the eye. Or actually, yeah, I think the dark part of the eyelid should just be brought up a little bit, maybe. Well, or the eye should be brought down. That's a stylistic decision. I'm not sure. That's going to define the character of the eye quite a bit. I don't want to screw it up, but I just did notice it needs to be. It's just like a sharp edge at the bottom, and that needs to be tapering a little better. Smilingbounder drew it. He's the one that did the Killer Robot Deer and the bike pedaling Pepe Frog. Wait, you're looking at it right now? Baby, you're supposed to be driving. If you get in a car accident because of Smilingbounder emote, I'm gonna have to ban him from my channel forever for killing my wife. Oh, okay. Isn't it good? My wife thinks it's really good, and it looks just like a fat version of me. He's going to. He's going to. He's changed everything I asked so far. And he does it quick. So there's been like 10 iterations now. And each one, it's just looking way better and better and better and better. Because I told you I have a good critical eye. I can find a fault. No. Well, even if I did have dark circles, I'm glad he added the dark circles because a fat guy always has it. It goes great. You know? That clip's stupid. No one will know why I'm doing that. They're not knowing I'm trying to give an artist reference in my eye color. It just looks like me looking crazy. Baby, you cannot watch my stream when you're in traffic. That's messed up. Hi, Hello Kitty. Man. Just... the changes have made it so much better. Oh. It's so much better. Compared to... I don't even want to look at the previous versions. It's just so much better now. I love the added details and the whites above the upper lip. The center trough above the upper lip leading up to the nose. That shadowing. The taco meat under the bottom lip, that facial hair, and the definition of the whites around the outsides of it. The V taper of the cheeks being dead on. The extension of the sideburns to match my sideburns length. Oh, I found another little fault. So, between his left ear, our right, and where that meets the double chin fat, there's a little cutout. It looks like a little bird beak, and that needs to be smoothed out and gotten rid of. So, like, either the fat brought up, or the chin, or the ear just made a little longer to hide that. It just looks like an unnatural, sharp cutoff. Now that I see how amazing I look, I have to become like that. Now I have a new goal. Imagine how many cheeseburgers and bowls of ice cream I can enjoy to get to that state. Wait, let me say one more thing before I ask you what did you say because I didn't understand what you just said. Another thing that is that if I got this fat with the body to go with it, that'll give me so much more room in the atom bot, which will need to be the same size as me, to fit all of his batteries, so he'll have a much better battery life. What do you say, baby? Oh, when I squint at it, oh, it's just so good. Oh my goodness. That is so good. I'm telling you, the details made it happen. Because the original picture was good, but when you start chipping away the faults, collectively, all those little improvements make a world of difference. It just brought it straight to life. It's crazy, but it's like the little things add up. And suddenly, boom, it just looks real. It's just like, oh my gosh, you just brought the authenticity up to a whole new level. It's really so good. It just makes it even funnier. The better it is, the better the likeness, the better the detail, the funnier it is. Cuz then it's like that's me. Like that's me and I'm fat and it's just like it's a lie, but it's a funny lie. I just can't get over how good the hair is. I love the hair. Especially like the top. The top fluffy part where it's swooping up is my favorite part. And I'm glad you didn't try to make it the hair that I have right now because I am eventually moving back toward that hairstyle. And so if you try to make it my hair right now, like it wouldn't stand the test of time, but that will be my long-term hairstyle. So the emote will have more lasting power that way. Right now it's really short because of that dare where I had to shave all my hair off, but I'm eventually returning it to the look that's in this emote. Hmm. I think that's blue enough for the most part. No, he just made it blue. It's you can see it. I mean, you might have a delay before what I'm talking about shows up on your screen. Yeah. I mean, don't forget, this is going to be scaled to 1/50th this size as an emote. It's going to be tiny. So as long as the emote captures my essence and it looks like me and it's fat, that's pretty much all you need. But I think all these little tweaks will actually show in the final emote. It's a better likeness overall. No, I doubt anybody would notice that. Oh my goodness. You can see on OBS now. Stop listening. A really small version that's showing up on my screen. It's this size, and then it goes down to this size. And this smaller one comes even smaller. Because you see my mouse twice right here, but on my screen I'm seeing it in 3 different sizes right now. 1, 2, and then I'm seeing it one more time. And the really small one, you said that the beard would be lost with the smallest size. It's not. You can definitely see the facial hair. And it looks amazing. What do you think of it, Spectre Dave? You're a resident artist. You should have a good eye for art. I mean, I know you do. Isn't this emo incredible? Can you give any constructive criticism? Okay, you made the blue a little brighter here. That's better. That's dead on now. Oh, I see you smoothed out that. You got rid of that little chunk underneath his left ear. You smoothed out the weird spot in the white of his left eye. That's dead on now. The ear is very good now. Dimple's perfect. Nose is perfect. Lips are dead on. Shading of the whole beard is just perfect. Wow. I mean, I don't really see anything else. Spectre Dave said it's artistically outstanding, but deeply disturbing. Why is it disturbing, Spectre? My wife wants to know. This is the version of me 1,000 pizzas later. This is the version of me if I didn't buy the exercise bike just in time. How about this is the version of me if Hannah leaves me and I become depressed? Someone wrote Hannah likes him thick. THICC. You know, it's a kind of cool exercise is to rotate a picture. I want to try it. Stop listening. It can help show any further flaws, I think. That looks kind of creepy. It looks like Jack Nicklaus looking through the bathroom door and that iconic scene where he has a crazy look in his eyes and he's smiling. What's that movie? It's not Jack. The Shining. This reminds me of The Shining. This particular head angle and the scary look in the eyes. Like, this looks like a crazy person looking in your door. If you saw that looking in your bathroom door, you'd be like, oh my gosh, like, it'd scare the crap out of you. It projects mania. Yes, I see that. The left eye and the right eye actually have now captured mania, and I have mania, and that's gonna be one of your one of the crowning achievements of this piece of art is that you captured a mania, a craziness that everyone suspects, but maybe I hide. But this picture draws it out. It shows the true crazy man behind the scenes. What, baby? What do you mean? Self-disparaging humor is highly smiled upon on Twitch. Okay, but you're my wife and I'm not talking to you. I wouldn't call myself crazy to you to make you feel insecure and doubt your decision. I would say it to people on Twitch who would get a great amount of amusement from imagining me as being truly crazy. Wow. The lighting is so good that the head looks 3D. Music from The Shining. Oh, if I had a podcast, this would make an amazing podcast art. The kind of art that you see just playing like in a loop, like some animation. This looks like that. I've seen some podcasts with some really good art that they just like show of the people in the podcast talking. I mean, this is that good. This is really good smiling. Ah, it's so good. By spinning it around, I get to see it with fresh eyes. It was starting to get stale, like hard to see. When you look at something too long, you can't see what's going on anymore. But when you spin it slowly and then stop and look at it, tilt your head, look at it at different angles, you can really see certain things just start popping out. Your brain starts to understand it in new ways. Oh, it's so good. The eyes just capture me amazing. And the forehead and the hair. And if the mouth, nose, and chin don't capture me dead on, of course it's not. That's the characterized part. You intentionally made my head shorter and squatter and then wider, and then blew up the chin to unrealistic sizes. So that can't be an exact likeness. and that's intentional. My nose is longer than this, 100%. It would be like down to here. But the artistic license, which you explained, to shorten it all, to exaggerate the fatness, and make it into a legitimate caricature, that's what caricatures do. They exaggerate in the direction you want to go. And I agree with that decision. You know, I get to feel the power of why people work in teams now. Smiling used my vision and my critical eye to enhance his art to a whole new level. And my critical eye benefited a collective effort. My attention to detail benefited it. And Smiling's skill as an illustrator made it possible quickly and skillfully making the changes I wanted happen. It would have taken me hours and hours and hours to do the same things that he was changing. I struggle at the tools. I don't have the practice, and I would get there eventually. I think I can do this level of work, but it'd just be so hard for me. Just very time consuming. So that was a great example for me, somebody that chooses to work alone, of the power of collaboration. And I think that's good. That's kind of what this internship's all about. It's me experimenting with working with others, getting my feet wet with that concept. I agree. But yeah, this part where I was iterating with it with you, going over it, looking at it a lot, that wasn't me working while you work, so it was taking up my time too. That's true. So I can't spend too much time looking at it, right? I mean, at this point, I'm not looking at it too critically. I'm just admiring it. So that's just a compliment at this point. Uh, I I think it's dead on. It's excellent. The only thing that might need critiquing at this point would be how it works as a thumbnail in the smaller size. There might be things you need to darken or exaggerate to make the thumbnail pop and capture its essence at the smaller size. It seemed like at a smaller size it lost a lot of what it has going for it, which is unfortunate. So that would be maybe the only remaining areas of improvement, is just like figuring out whatever way to make it look even better when it's small. I don't know if you would want to create, well, I don't know if you can create a separate version for the smaller versions. I wouldn't want to change that size version because it's dead on. Maybe if you could maybe change some things with the smaller version. Oh, wow, mailbox. That's not a bad idea for an emote. Art by ape, or art by your ape. Wait, that would be, since my emote is ARTBYR, and then you get to write in the next part. Twitch made it ARTBYR. If we made ARTBYRAPE, art by your ape, it would be art by rape, which is not a good emote name. Art by rape? I don't want to be associated with a rapist, but I kind of want to make an ape emote. I'd have to change it to art by and get rid of the R in my prefix. They assign you a prefix, and affiliates can't change their prefix. But an ape emote would be really cool, since people call me an ape because I eat a lot of bananas or might have long arms. I don't know. A couple people call me ape, mainly mailbox. but to to make an ape-like version of my face, I feel at least Mailbox will love it. But he's not even a subscriber, so I don't really see the benefit. He'd be the one that would want to use that emote the most. I actually really like it. That's really funny. I'm saving that. I have to save that. That's funny. Oh man. Oh, you know what? I get to add this to the intern jobs completed thing. I almost forgot. I gotta remember to always add that. The interns have to be encouraged and rewarded by seeing their completed task get added to the completed task list every time. Wow, so all the emotes are done. My only intern actually producing for me now has no more work left to do unless if we assign something else. I mean, I could put under the meme art my lyric away screen idea, but that needs more work before it's even ready because we have to figure out what we want to do. Like, well, I know you guys love my current way screen, where it's just a picture of me staring and people think it's actually video, but it'd be cool to have a more professional one like Lyric has. Okay. Yeah, you get, since you finished everything in the memes art category, you're officially on vacation. I hate to put on vacation my best worker. That sucks. But hey, you've earned it, I guess. You've definitely earned it. No other interns have put in substantial work like you. No, you guys know I'll always come up with more stuff to do. That's my specialty, is adding more to my to-do list. I have the most famous, never-ending to-do list of all time. When do you move up to paid internship? It's an interesting concept. How would a paid internship work? Maybe that's what my internship lacks, is enough incentive. At some point, maybe a paid internship would be worth it, but if I do a paid internship, don't I have to do payroll and issue W-2s? You'd be an employee then, right? Isn't an intern treated tax-wise as an employee? I would have to collect a worker's whatever it's called from everyone that's paid, wouldn't I? I mean, yeah, we could try to do it under the table, but I don't do that with business. I try to follow all laws. Non-paid internships, you don't have to collect information from anyone. I would have to get people's... When you get a job, you have to submit a form of all your information. And the main reason for that, I believe, is that people won't pay their child support and back taxes and like different stuff if the employer can't tell the government, okay, this is the guy who is working for me. You guys can now go find him and collect the missing child support or whatever. It has something to do with that. See, Opie Opie, I think this emote is going to replace Opie Opie as my you're getting fat emote. That was kind of the point. Opie Opie is a popular emote on my stream, and what could be better than an Opie Opie where it's my face being fat? I think that's so fitting. Oh no! Okay, that's gotta be saved. That's perfect! Oh no! Okay, I have to say his face looks eviler than mine. I mean, I look like I'm gonna break in that room and steal your cookies. He looks like he's gonna break in the room and slit your throat, so at least I'm not as crazy looking as he looked in that movie. So that's a plus. People saw that face in their door, they definitely hide their burgers and fries and stuff. But I don't think they'd be concerned for their life.